Well, hello everybody, and welcome along to Sportsbet TV with me, Paul Alster. We are looking forward to some really terrific racing coming up this weekend in Britain and Ireland. There'll be lots of clues as we really do now begin to close in on the Cheltenham Festival, which is just 6 weeks or so down the line. And so I have two selections for you this weekend. I'll be taking you to Sandown Park and to Leopardstown, where there's Grade 1 racing at both meetings. Now, if you happen to be new to the service, then do remember to check out the subscribe button just below the screen, and then you'll be able to follow me for free at your leisure whenever you want, whenever I've got a bulletin out there. And last week, I gave you just the one selection, and that was Mufasa. And Mufasa ran really well on trials day at Cheltenham, finishing third at 16-1. So I hope you were on there each way for the place. That was a profitable selection last weekend. And I'm hoping that the two I'm giving you here, this recording as of noon on Friday, will both go really well on Saturday, where it's ultra competitive, both sides of the Irish Sea. So I'm going to start off at Sandown Park, and the 2:55 race there is a 3-mile handicap hurdle. There are 15 runners and the going is good to soft. And there'll be plenty of horses in this race that have got, or their trainers have got half an eye on the Cheltenham Festival, but this is a good prize. So I'm sure quite a few will be doing more than their level best to try and get a share of the prize money. Now, there's lots of solid 3-mile handicap hurdle form in the race. But Remastered is a horse who's been absolutely flying over fences this season since he won a 3-mile handicap hurdle at Aintree in November off 132. He's now £10 higher, which is a not insignificant rise. But of course, he went on to be second in the Coral Handicap Chase, the former Hennessy Gold Cup. And he also won at Kempton at the Christmas meeting over 3 miles, a horse in terrific form. Interesting to see if he can continue his progress off the £10 higher mark in this particular event. I don't rule out the possibility of him going very well, but I think there's value to be had elsewhere. Now, Flight Deck for John Joe O'Neill Jr. and Senior is in form. He struck at Chepstow over 3 miles last time out and has gone up £7 for that. It was a competitive hurdle, and he won't be far away despite now being lumbered with top weight of 12 stones. Bielsa Peterborough, who was second that day, is now £4 better off, so should go pretty close to Flight Deck. And Green Book for Venetia is now £8 better off for finishing sixth, but that was his first run of the season, and Green Book is entitled, I think, to improve on that effort. Now, the mare, Coquelicot for Anthony Honeybull, very, very consistent mare. She's a really admirable, tough sort. She won here over 2.5 miles in December and then was second last time out at Kempton. The trip is going to be interesting for her to see whether she can get home at this level. While the likes of Call Me Lord, who's been a grand old sort at these races for the last few seasons, Jet of Magic, a horse who still has plenty to give, and one that I gave some very serious consideration to, which is the Rebecca Menzies Schalke, who was a really good winner at Kelso last time out. They are all respected. But after considering the race from all sorts of different angles, my selection is going to be Storm Nelson, who's trained by an old favourite of this channel, Sandy Thompson, and ridden by Ryan Mania, who, of course, is a tremendous Northern jockey, winner of the Grand National, of course, back in the day. Now, Storm Nelson is a fascinating contender because he's a horse who's clearly been very difficult to train. He's obviously had his issues over the years, but has always had plenty of ability, or rather he's been able to show his ability as they've managed to keep him sound. Now, he joined Sandy Thompson from the Lucy Normill stable just about 2 years ago, having won just one race for his previous connections. And he missed over a year due to a setback before winning on his debut for Sandy Thompson at Ayr in March of 21. That was in a 2.5 mile handicap hurdle off just 99. But Sandy really was able to get a very good tune out of him, as he does so often with other people's cast-offs. And he went on to complete a treble with this horse that season, eventually seeing him win off 117 with two victories following his first Adair, with two more at Carlisle, where he goes particularly well. And Storm Nelson really does seem to like a right-handed track with a stiff uphill finish. Sounds familiar, eh? Especially Sandown has pretty much that kind of a layout. Now, the following season, last season, he ran only twice, including finishing second in a handicap hurdle at Ayr, and that was to a decent horse off 125. But he came back in this November, and he won at his beloved Carlisle over 3 miles, 1 furlong. And the horse he beat that day was none other than Flight Deck, who, of course, is one of the favourites here. Now, he beat him a length and 3/4, and he's now just a pound worse off. So I think there's every reason to believe that wherever Flight Deck finishes, Storm Nelson is going to be very, very close to him, and he's certainly going to be a much bigger price, or certainly is at the time of this recording. His latest run, well, that was at Ayr. That was over 3 miles in heavy ground, where once again he won. Got a great strike rate for Sandy Thompson. He beat the course specialist Wakul up at Ayr, which is no mean feat, because at Ayr, Wakul is a really decent horse. And he won there off 128 and has subsequently gone up 6 more pounds. So I think this is a horse who is making up for lost time. He's had his issues, and now they've got him sweet, and they're sending him down to Sandown, which is something Sandy Thompson doesn't do very often. Now, those of you that have been following me for a few years, and I know many of you have, and I'm grateful to you for following me over such a period. You may remember me tipping a horse of Sandy's a couple of years ago when it went down to Sandown, called Seeyouatmidnight. And that one went on to win for us at 20-1. It was recommended and back down to 10s. He's actually only run 3 horses, and he's got the one winner out of the 3. So he doesn't send them down all the way to Sandown without expecting them to go very well. And at the time of this recording, 16-1 is available each way for 4 places. And so Storm Nelson is my choice at Sandown on Saturday in the 2:55 for Sandy Thompson and Ryan Mania. Now, just before I come on to the second selection at Leopardstown, a reminder to you that my Patreon premium service is available, and you can check out all the details on that in the link just below this screen. And as we build up to Cheltenham, there's going to be plenty to look forward to on that service, I can assure you. But I'm going to move on straight away to Leopardstown, where there is an outstanding card Saturday and Sunday, 4 Grade 1s on Saturday. But I'm looking once again at the handicaps. I certainly like to test myself with these puzzles that these 3-mile handicap hurdles are, especially when a number of the trainers have multiple runners. 18 runners are declared, and the going is yielding. And Gordon Elliott is certainly setting his stall out, and the one they may all have to beat is his Maxim, who is the current 3-1 favourite as of Friday at noon. He's on a hat-trick, having bolted in over course and distance last time out by 16 lengths in a really competitive race. But the handicapper has had his say, and he's put him up 18 pounds. And because of that, he's put Cian Quirk on to try and take the weight down a further 7 pounds. There could still be more to come from Maxus. We're not sure he's reached his ceiling yet. He is one of 4 runners for Gordon Elliott in this race. They also include Sam's Choice, who won a handicap on his debut in a handicap over 2.5 miles at Leopardstown last time out. He's gone up 7 pounds, and he's also going up in trip. So we'll watch with interest to see if he's as effective over the extra half mile. Elliott has Jungle Pros as well, who won 4 in a row before being outclassed in a Grade 2 last time out. Now, of the remainder, Willie Mullins, of course, is having this phenomenal season. And indeed, at Leopardstown over the 2 days, he has a mass of runners. Indeed, there's one Grade 1 where I think he's got 6 of the 8 runners, and he's going to be farming these races. Although finding which one of his battalions for these graded races is going to win is by no means an easy task. But in this handicap, he runs Blue Sari, who's going up in trip. But he is a classy horse and will be better for his reappearance over 2 miles at Clonmel 18 days ago when he was second. He's rated a stone higher over fences, so potentially Blue Sari is getting in off a decent mark going up in trip here. Now, a horse I've mentioned a few times to my followers at Patreon this season is Takarengo for the Thomas Mullins yard, which has really hit form. And Takarengo has been threatening to win one of these. He's gone fairly well in his last few starts. He's been placed, but he's got ground to find with Maxim, and I'm not sure the weight pull will be enough for him to get his head in front. While the likes of Grosjean for the very shrewd, to say the very least, Charles Burns, and in particular Gavin Cromwell's Percival Le Gaulois, who was fourth to Maxim last time out and is now £19 better off for 26 lengths. I think Percival Le Gaulois could be very, very dangerous indeed. And Gavin Cromwell is operating at a very healthy winning strike rate at the moment. One other to mention before I come to my selection is an outsider called Freedom to Dream, who's trained by Peter Fahy. Now, this is a horse I did look at for quite a while. He just hasn't taken to fences in his 2 starts this season. But last term, he finished fourth of the 23 runners over the extended 2.5 miles in the Martin Pipe conditional jockey's handicap hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival, and he was coming home well. I think if he stays the 3 miles, he would have a proper chance, but you just have to take it on trust that he will get home over this trip. And then I come on to my choice here, because as I mentioned, Gordon Elliott has 4 in the race. I've spoken of 3 of them, but not yet of Au Fleuron. And Au Fleuron, trained by Gordon, and the mount of Kieran Buckley, who is claiming £3. Now, it's going to be fascinating for me to see if Au Fleuron is able to stay this 3-mile trip. It's a new trip for him. And if he does stay it, and obviously Gordon must think there's a good chance he will by throwing him into such a hot race, first time up at 3 miles. I think he'd have to go very well, having run really well last time out at Punchestown when he was 4th of 19 over 2.5 miles. And on the basis of that run, in my view, he's fairly handicapped. Now, he won in December of 21, that's about 14 months ago. He won at Navan in a 2-mile maiden hurdle. And then he was third in a listed hurdle at Punchestown a year ago, staying on well. After that, to be 7th of 23 at the Cheltenham Festival behind Banbridge in that conditional jockey's Martin Pipe race. It's quite obvious to me this horse just didn't take to fences, and we know that happens. And I think we can forgive him that. And he was off for a couple of months before he had that run at Punchestown last time out, off a mark of 131. And this is a horse that cost a lot of money. I haven't written down, but I'm sure it was over 200,000 euros they paid for him. And so they've obviously had high hopes that he was going to be a good horse and be paying them back. And I think he's worth trying first time out to catch him at a decent price going up in trip. And at the time of this recording, 14 to 1 each way, available 5 places, including with Bet UK, amongst others. I see quite a few of them are starting to cut the price, so that price could be going. And who knows, it may go by the time you see this, or it may have gone and come back and got bigger. Remember always to shop around. So Au Fleuron is my choice. Leopardstown 340 in their 3-mile handicap hurdle. Those are my 2 choices for this Saturday, and let's hope they run well. If you want to check out my selections at Patreon, you can do so by subscribing using the link below. But for this weekend, I'm going to say goodbye to you and wish you bon fortune. And let's hope that we get plenty of clear clues about Cheltenham, and that the horses I've selected you here run well at really proper each way prices. Bye-bye for now.